Alright, this is for Module 3, Lesson 2. I'm doing the problem set questions. Remember, they are very similar to homework. It's just the numbers are going to be different, but the examples being given should help the students complete their homework. Alright, so for the following problems, draw a picture using the rectangular fraction model and write the answers. When possible, write your answer as a mixed number. On this lesson, I'm just going to strictly use the graphing paper to work with the models, and then I'll move back over to this page whenever we need to maybe simplify or turn our number into a mixed number. So I have 2/3 plus 1/2. So I'm going to come over here and write that out. I've got 2/3 plus 1/2. So again, I'm going to look at my denominator for this first fraction, which is a 3. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 going across. And then I'm going to look at my denominator for my second fraction, and I'm going to count 1, 2 going down. And now I can set up my model. 2 down, 3 across. Now I need to look at my numerator. So for 2/3, my numerator is a 2, and remember my denominator was a 3, so I'm worried about my top part here that goes 1 through 3 since my denominator is a 3. They tell me to shade in 2 out of the 3, so I'm going to go 1, 2, and we're going to shade all the way down. Alright, so I've taken care of my 2/3 model. Now, let's work with our 1/2. I'm going to count over 1, 2 because I'm working with 2 on the denominator. And for my 2/3, I had 3, so 1, 2, 3. And now I can go create that model. I have 2 across. I have 3 down. And again, we're working with a half. So it tells me to shade in 1 out of the 2. So I look here, and 1 out of 2, so shade all the way down. Now I can come here and make my equivalent fractions. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 out of 6. So I have 4 shaded out of 6. And I'm going to add that to 1, 2, 3 out of 6. Reminder, my denominator should be the same. This is the whole reason we're doing the models, is so that we can find our common denominator here. Now I can do 4 plus 3, which equals 7 out of 6. Reminder, do not add those denominators. We had to make them the same for a reason. So this equals 7 out of 6. Which means I have an improper fraction. When my numerator is larger than my denominator, it's improper. I like to tell the students, think of it as a snowman. I don't want the top of my snowman to be bigger than the bottom because then my snowman's just going to topple over. So we need to fix this. I can fix this by coming here and saying my denominator is 6. So to have a whole, I'm going to put 6 over 6. Plus, well, how many more do I need to make 7? I need 1 more to have 6 out of 7. And put my denominator as 6. 6 over 6 equals 1. And then 1 out of 6. So my final answer would be 1 and 1/6. Students, remember that a whole is where my numerator and denominator are the same. So for example, I could have 124 over 124. This equals 1. I could have 10 out of 10. This equals 1. 12 out of 12. This equals 1. So when my numerator and denominator are the same value, that equals a whole. All right, so let's go look at B. It is 3/4 out of 2/3. So let's come over here. I have 3/4 out of 2/3. So 3/4 plus 2/3. So I'm going to look at my denominator, and I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4 going across. And then I'm going to go 3 down. So 1, 2, 3. And I am going to make that model. So 4 across, 3 down. And my numerator tells me to shade in 3, so I'm going to look at 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to shade all the way down. Remember to count across with a number that was in your denominator. So since my denominator was a 4, then I need to look at the section that goes 1 through 4. You don't want to look at 1 through 3 and then do 3, because then we've done our model incorrectly. So now let's come over here. I'm going to add 2/3 to it. So my denominator is a 3 for my 2/3. So I'm going to count across 1, 2, 3. And my denominator over here was a 4. So I'm going to count down 1. Oops. I don't want to make that like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So then I come across 3. I come down 4. And I can make my model. On this one, I need 2 out of 3 shaded in. So I have 1, 2, and I'm going to shade all the way down. Now let's see what our equivalent fractions are. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So we have 9 out of 12 shaded. I'm going to add that to 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. Sometimes this pen likes to erase stuff. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 out of 12. Now I'm going to take 9 plus 8, which equals 17 over 12. So again, I have an improper fraction because my numerator is larger than my denominator. So let's come over here. I said this equaled 17 out of 12. So I'm going to come break this apart here. To have a whole, I'm going to look at my denominator, which is 12, and I'm going to put 12 on top to have a whole. And then I'm going to say, well, how much further, or how many more do I need to get to 17? So I need 5 more equals 17, and I can go and check myself. I can come off to the side and be like, well, let me double check. Or I can do 17 minus 12, whichever way you want to check to make sure you have the right one for the next one. So since I have the same value for my numerator and denominator, that is going to equal 1 whole, and then I just bring my other part down. So 5 out of 12. So that is 1 and 5/12. All right. Let's look at another one. I'm going to do F, which is 2/3 plus 3/7. Let's go to that graphing paper. So 2/3 plus 3/7. Let me write that down. 2/3 plus 3/7. So again, for my 2/3, my denominator is a 3, so I'm going to go 1, 2, 3 across. And then I'm going to look at my next fraction. My denominator is a 7, so I'm going to come 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So then when I come do this, I go 3 across, 7 down, and make that model. And I need 2 out of the 3 shaded in. So 1, 2, and we're going to come all the way down. Doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as we've got all of that going down that direction. Now we're going to add that to 3/7. So my denominator is a 7. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 across, and then 1, 2, 3 down because my denominator here is a 3. Now let's go make that model. I have 7 across, 3 down, and I need to shade in 3 out of the 7. So 1, 2, 3, and then we'll shade that all the way down. So now let's see what our equivalent fractions are. I can also look at this and say 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21, so 14 over 21. Now 3 times 3 is 9, but 3 times 7 is 21. So if I count those, I should have that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. Then I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Now I'm going to add my 14 and my 9. Now students, if you need to come do that off to the side, that is more than fine. If you can't really do it in your head, write it off to the side so that you can do it. So then you'd have 9 plus 4 is 13, carry your 1 up, 23, and then bring that 23 over here and put it over 21. All right, so I've got 23 out of 21. So again, my numerator is larger than my denominator, so I do need to turn that into a mixed number. So I'm going to come over here and say my denominator is 21. So to make a whole, I have 21, and then I need another 2 to get 23. So when I do this, I get 1 and 2 out of 21 would be my final answer there. Again, I really think doing the models on the graphing paper is going to help a lot. Keeps it nice and neat. Make sure you remember to change that into a mixed number. As you can see, all 3 that I've worked out was an improper fraction, so that's mainly what this lesson has to do with. They've kind of added what we learned in lesson 1, and we're doing the same thing, making the models, but now we end up with improper fractions, so we have to know how to work with those and how to turn those into a mixed number. Again, if you need any help or have any questions, just reach out to your child's teacher, and I really hope that these videos are helping.